Kindness, I think that it is so easy to give, doesn't cost you a thing. It's so valuable to that other person, um, and to you. I think it comes back.
Tell me who Keith is in this season of life.
A grandpa, more than anything. I love my little grandbabies more than anything in this world. They're so much fun to get to talk to and beat myself up for all the mistakes I made as a parent with them. You know, it's one of those things that you as you look back and being a parent through the eyes of a grandchild or through the eyes of a grandparent, it's such a different feeling. The joy and wonder, you don't want to dampen that any at all. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Personally, I go to work, I see my kiddos, and I do VeeFriends. That's pretty much me right now.
Why did you pick the kind warrior?
Well, it kind of picked me. I'm not the kind warrior. My buddy Paul Vitale is, to me, the kind warrior. He was the greatest thing, best friend you could possibly ask for. Everybody that ever came in contact with Paul felt like they were the most important person on the planet at that particular point in time, because that's how Paul made them feel. He made everybody feel important and feel happy, and he was strong, very strong. You know, he cared about his family, he cared about doing what was right, cared about living his life the way that he felt like he should. And as far as me, the kind warrior is just a way to, you know, honor his memory and keep it alive, because I loved him so much. The trait itself, kindness, I think that it is so easy to give, doesn't cost you a thing. It's so valuable to that other person, and to you. I think it comes back. You know, I think that when you can treat someone with kindness, it just changes their day, and hopefully it can change the outcome of something. You know, if they were going through something that was rough, and just the kindest, gentlest action that you can take can sometimes make their day awesome. And kind warrior, you know, it's kind of funny. You don't really expect warriors to be kind, but I think you can still be strong. I think you can still be centered and grounded in your convictions, and still show kindness even through disagreement. Before kind warrior kind of picked me and stuck with me so hard is I was a raccoon. My first NFT was the respectful raccoon. In the series 2, I bought the little, and the whole reason I bought it was because of respect. I think if you're respectful and you're kind, you can't go wrong. If you embody those two traits and those two traits alone, then life's going to be pretty good for you. I still have a little special spot for the raccoon, and thrills me that the raccoon is where it's at now. He doesn't quite get the respect that he deserves in some circles.
Not yet. I'm working on it. I really like that the kind warrior has the balance of kindness without being walked all over.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for people who are trying to stand up for themselves without losing who they are at their heart?
I think it's like I said earlier. If you approach anything through a lens of empathy and kindness and respect, then you can stand firm, you know, and believe in your convictions. Take a stand for it, and it's okay to be that way. It's okay to call somebody out. It's okay but do it with kindness. Anybody that wants to stand or that stands for something, if you do it with kindness, someone is so much more willing to listen to you and listen to your perspective of it. You have a much more persuasive opportunity.
Do you also feel like that helps you with setting boundaries while being kind? I feel like sometimes for people who are just very kind by nature, sometimes have a hard time setting boundaries and just letting things go a little bit too long or let people push them a little bit too far?
There have been a couple of times where I've been bothered by something. If you're not willing to call something out or not willing to say something, you're almost saying it's okay or agreeing with it in some aspect. And so that's, I don't think you have to get your nose in the middle of everything. If you believe in something, you need to have the backbone to say it. But you've also got to be kind in how you deliver it, because otherwise you're just part of the problem.
The kind of tone you use when you say something. Like, it's totally okay to have an opinion or a different opinion, but like how you address something, are you respectful when you do it? Are you still kind? Is a really big deal, and I feel like it will always be received better. Because I can see that you're coming from a place of growth and wanting them to learn versus wanting just to point fingers. None of us are perfect, but how you react after making a mistake, I think that shows the kind of character you have, the kind of person you are. It's not about the mistakes you made, it's like how you deal with it after.
It doesn't matter who you're dealing with or their station in life, so long as you're kind, you're doing the right thing.
Do you feel you were naturally just a kind person, or was Paul kind of a mentor, a driver who showed you that side of you and then learning to embody it even more?
My mother is probably she's the same way. She was the same way as Paul. And if I dig down in, I'm the same way too. I'm not really somebody that goes out and, it's in my nature. And my mother has always been that way. She's very kind, very sweet person. Everybody that comes in contact with her just loves her to death. And it was just the way I was raised. My stepdad's the same way. My father passed when I was a little boy. I was only 4. And my stepdad's the same way, just a super kind guy, works really, really hard. So kindness has always been there. But now Paul, I really got to see it with Paul through everything that he had to deal with, going through the treatments for his cancer and everything. And
I love that you are honoring his memory so much, like through who you are, like what the kind warrior, or even the letters you sent out. I remember I still have the letter you sent me of like the first contact we had, and like telling the story of Paul to me, and it was like really special moment for me to have that, like for you to share that with me, because I don't think it's always an easy thing to share, being vulnerable with a stranger at that moment. But I feel like I think it was one of those parts too that showed me early on in VeeFriends that there's just people here who value vulnerability and truth and like real honest life situation, and that it's something you can share here and be vulnerable and just be yourself. And I think I love that, and I love that about you, that you're one of those people who just show people that kindness is a strength and not a weakness, and that you can use that kindness and vulnerability to show others that they can do the same. I think you're a big part of that for me.
The thing I love most about this community is there's so many different parts of all of us, and all of us carry some of the same traits. That's just what's so awesome about our community, is there's so many individuals that are in it, and so many different types of people, and it just, we all love each other. Prior to VeeFriends, Paul was my only friend. I didn't have other friends. I didn't have a circle of friends or anything like that. The two of us, and that was it. He was who I counted on, who I could talk to. And after his death, I didn't have anybody. And now I've got a friend in Australia. I've got a friend in India. I have a friend in London, Saveall in the UK. I've got friends from coast to coast here in the US and Canada, and people that aren't just acquaintances or friends. They're, brothers and sisters from all over that I would do anything in the world for. And I know I'm going to get a hug from them each time I see them. And that makes me happy. It's something that's so special. And then however many new people are coming in, to the community, and it's so fun to get to see that, and it's so fun to get to have just a little small part in making somebody grin or making somebody think, you know what, this is a pretty good bunch of folks.
I think it's my favorite part when you see new people come in and then them realizing how amazing this place is, the people in it and everything, and then start talking about it too. And you're just like, you got it. Like you understand it. Like it's so hard to explain it to somebody outside until you can kind of pull them in and like show them what it really is that we're here for. And then when you see them it makes click in their head what this VeeFriends is really about. Like it's because you still remember that feeling yourself. You still remember how it felt when it clicked for you. It was like,
yeah. But just that joy that you feel whenever somebody pops in and's having a good time and they're enjoying it, and it's for whatever reason that the characters are resonating and the company that they're getting to keep is resonating, and it's something that they need. You know, I know that when I came into VeeFriends, I needed it. I needed it more than it needed me. I felt like Paul, through the Kind Warrior, led me to VeeFriends because he knew I was going to need more friends, and I found them, and that's what makes me so happy.
I think that I needed it. I hear from a lot of people. It's something we didn't know we need, but like it was just, once it's there, like I can't even imagine how my life was before.
Yeah.
Like how did I not have this? Like I had friends before, but like I'm not a super outgoing person. I'm not the first one to talk to people, and so I got a very small circle of friends, very good friends, but like very small and limited. And so, like you said, now having people all over the world, being able to listen to different cultures and perspectives, and like there's always somebody awake. So if I wake up in the middle of the night and I need to talk to somebody's going to be awake and I can talk to them. Like being able to have something like this where you can jump on a stream or jump on a phone call and just hear somebody's voice like any time of the day is so valuable, I feel like, because you never feel alone. Like there's always somebody who will listen to you or give you advice or be there for you, whatever you need in the moment. And that makes this community so special. It's like this safe space, the safety net of like, if you are having a shitty day, you don't have to be alone with it. If something happens to you, you don't have to be alone with it. So somebody's there who will help you in some way. You know, I think that makes life so much easier. It takes such a burden off of you. It's almost like this village that we're supposed to have around us, and now we found that.
Even if you're not in the room, somebody's going to have your back. I've seen that play out several times, and that makes you happy. What's so special about it is that it's just people loving on each other and treating each other the way that they need to be treated, or the way that they would like to be treated. And it's just kind. It's, you know, kindness is something that goes a long way.
Who do you think would be Kind Warrior's sidekick?
I have referred to myself as, Paul's best friend, and I refer to Paul as the Kind Warrior, and I was his high horse. And so, you know, I always had his back. I always cheered him on. You know, he wasn't down very often, but if he was ever down, I could always bring him back up. And so I feel like, you know, me personally, Kind Warrior and the high horse are kind of go hand in hand. I know Considerate Cowboy wants to ride him around, but high horse warrior, I think are hand in hand in battle. Empathy Elephant is another that, and we talked a little bit about even Respectful Raccoon. I think those, you know, empathy and kindness and respect, with those three traits, any problem in the world can be solved. And that's what's wrong with a lot of our world now, is we don't have enough of that.
The more I talk to people and we talk about different traits, you see how many of them you need to be a well-rounded person, and how many of them just go hand in hand with each other. You know, you need this little sprinkle of different things to really make it happen, and how similar some of the traits are too.
Well, and how they complement. You know, what was it? I mentioned something earlier about persuasion, and how persuasion, you can be hype with it, or you can be kind with it. You're going to get two different results. And VeeFriends, I think, is doing a good job of pairing them up, with the cartoons especially. I really love everything DJ touches or does is pure gold, in my opinion. I love that man. I think he is probably one of the greatest humans that's ever walked the planet, just because of how kind and how empathetic he is, and how willing he is to give. His heart's just a gift, I feel like, in some ways, and it's something that I just love him. He's special. He's a special person. I think they're doing it right, and I think the traits are so well positioned to do good.
If Kind Warrior would have a TED Talk, what would the topic be?
It would be about encouraging others. It'd be more listening than anything, probably. I think the Kind Warrior is kind of a he's got big ears and likes to listen. He could be intimidating walking around with a sword, so we want to be careful there. But he has a heart on his helmet, so that's kind of leading with the heart, and but then knowing that he's going to listen, he's going to encourage others, he's going to listen so that he can encourage others. I think you listen so that you can encourage others to be as kind as they possibly could be.
I think listening is a very underrated skill. I think so often we listen to respond. We don't just listen to listen. I feel like a lot of people have the need to just have somebody to listen to you. I think It's a really big thing if you can provide that to somebody, to really truly feel like somebody's listening to you.
That's really what allows you to have that clarity too. If you're listening to someone and they're needing to get something off their chest, or they're needing to work through something, if you're truly listening to be listening, and then the conversation that comes next, it really can allow that person who was doing all the talking to start with to really have clarity. So many times they're going to find the solution themselves, by being able to have a friend that's willing to sit with and listen with a kind heart.
What are some last words you want to send people off with?
Tell the people that you love them. Let them know. I was blessed to be able to let Paul know, and he did the same. He blessed me with the ability to know. Paul was always about writing a handwritten note or a handwritten letter, and I received a handwritten note from him the day before he passed, that he had written about 7 or 8 days earlier. And it was just telling me he knew. And he knew where my heart was. And so that was really, really special to be able to have that. So tell the people that you love them.